Hey guys, Mark Allen here for BHSpringsolutions. I have our cleared, empty Tisas Regent BR9 pistol. This is the one that's been through 7,000 rounds, 30 times plus in and out of water when it got too hot to shoot. During our first 6,000 round test, we now just completed 1,000 rounds. Function perfect. We had to put in a different barrel because we found the barrel to be defective, but we now have 7,000 rounds and data for BHSpringsolutions springs, the safety fast shooting system, which you could see in either one of those packaging configurations. It's the same system. The RDIH Picatinny rail, the RDIH comfortable grips, and configured just as you see it, the cylinder and slide wide trigger. All these things have been through 7,000 rounds, and our last 1,000 rounds were perfect. And now we believe we have achieved sustainable reliability with this handgun. So that's the video that you're going to be watching today, is the actual evidence, the 1,000 rounds that went through this pistol with absolutely no malfunctions. I want to mention one more thing. The Tisas Essential Reliability Kit with of course BHSpringsolutions extractor spring, extractor pin, sear lever pin, sear pin, heavy firing pin spring, and the firing pin retaining plate. These parts were all replaced out in this Tisas pistol because for one reason or another these parts all proved to be defective. The Tisas extractor fractured at about 300 rounds. The Tisas firing pin retaining plate, what keeps the firing pin from making a bullseye out of your eye, this fractured just north of 4,000 rounds. That was replaced. You learn a lot about a handgun when you fire it a lot and shoot it a lot. And we did this because we believed somebody needed to do it. And so we did it. And that's the video you're getting ready to watch is the last 1,000 rounds of our 7,000 round test. And we appreciate you watching. Hey guys, I'm Mark Allen with BHSpringsolutions, and it is Labor Day weekend 2018. On July 4th weekend 2018, we started a 6,000 round test that we completed of the Tisas BR9 high power, and we never achieved reliability in all of that testing in 6,000 rounds. We've made some changes. We've got an FN Browning barrel because we found the barrel to be defective that came with the Tisas pistol. We're also going to be running a BHSpringsolutions manufactured extractor and firing pin retaining plate. And the thing we're looking for and expecting today is we're expecting perfect function. We've got about 200 rounds. If we get through these, we may add another 100 rounds to it. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We never saw 200 out the gate, did we? I don't think we ever did.
If that hangs together.
Hey Clementa, you still have the video camera still running? Okay, that was 200 rounds
Absolutely perfect function. We got a nice field of brass laying all over the patio. Everything was very consistent. We're going to go ahead and let the pistol just cool down, and we're going to put some more rounds through it here in just a moment. You can stop the video. Hey guys, Mark Allen here for BH Spring Solutions, Labor Day weekend 2018, and this is the extended 6,000 round test. We now got 6,200 rounds through this Tisas BR9, and we just put 200 rounds through. We've been resting it now for about 7 or 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and the pistol is still just too hot to touch. But we're going to put 100 rounds through it again. Lights running out on us tonight, so if we get through this, this is going to be 300 rounds straight. No dips into the water to cool it down. It's still a very, very, very hot pistol. So we're going to get started here. We're ready to go. There's 300 rounds. No malfunctions. Absolutely perfect function. We can stop recording. Hey guys, Mark Allen, BH Spring Solutions LLC, and it's Labor Day weekend 2018, Saturday. We shot 300 rounds through the Tisas BR9 high power pistol. And it's configured the way that we've configured it, and basically the same as it was when we shot 6,000 rounds through it back on the 4th of July weekend time. We never got reliability in those whole 6,000 rounds. We had very erratic extraction from the pistol. We later found out that the chamber of the Tisas barrel, and this is the original barrel out of this Tisas pistol, we later found out that the chamber is off center by 22 thousandths and towards about the 10 o'clock position. Now, in the pistol, that moves the cartridge casing away from the extractor, and the extractor in the high power doesn't really have any margin for this kind of thing, where the extractor is disadvantaged by the positioning of the cartridge casing in the pistol. So we have installed a FN Browning 2003 manufacturer barrel and into the Regent BR9, and you'll notice we have the SFS system on there that now has 6,000 rounds of testing through it. So does the extended slide stop, and the extended slide stop puts the slide stop in easy reach of the thumb. But it also does this. It also allows you to disassemble the pistol without locking the slide back just that fast and just that easy. And we have here the FN Browning barrel. One of our customers a couple days ago asked us about what he had noticed about his Tisas pistol and what he called lateral movement of the barrel when the barrel is put into place in the slide. And his observation is accurate about it. This is the FN barrel and the FN slide, and you'll notice that there is no lateral movement. It's this tight fit lockup, and it's actually very impressive fitted barrel. And there's none of that lateral movement. When we put that same barrel into the Tisas slide, we see quite a bit of that lateral movement that our customer was asking us about. The Tisas pistol is a very reverse engineered high power, and this is due to dimensional differences on the interior of the slide. And the question was, is this a problem? And to this point, we have not found this to be the source of any real problems because of the design of the pistol. Tisas basically gets away with this. And through 6,300 rounds, it has not had not been a contributor to anything that was going on with the pistol. So we're going to get to more testing. This testing also includes in the last 300 or 400 rounds of our 6,000 round test, we installed a BHSpringsolutions manufactured extractor. We're continuing to test with that. The Tisas original extractor did break around 300 rounds into our 6,000 round test. It was replaced with an FN extractor. We actually used a couple different FN extractors, and again, we got better extraction than we had been getting with the original Tisas extractor, but it was never 100%, and it was never reliable for an extended period of time at all. Last night's 300 consecutive rounds and no malfunctions, that was really a new thing that we've seen out of the Tisas pistol, and we think it has to do with putting that FN barrel in. The BH extractor is working very, very well. Another summary item, the firing pin retaining plate, the original one that came with the Tisas pistol, that's right back here at the back of the slide. It's what keeps the firing pin in the pistol. That fractured at about 4,200 rounds, and we finished that 6,000 round test with an FN replacement firing pin retaining plate, but now we have a BHSpringsolutions manufactured firing pin retaining plate in the pistol, and that's part of what we're testing here too. All the BH springs in the pistol, including in the SFS system, now have 6,300 rounds through it. In our 6,000 round test, because we were trying to shoot thousands of rounds in a day, we were putting the pistol into a bucket of water over 30 times to cool it down faster so we could continue shooting. We're not doing that in this extended testing, but we are shooting about 200 rounds, then we're stopping, air cooling, shooting another 100 or maybe 200 rounds, and that's the way that our testing is continuing. But everything else on the pistol is unchanged, other than those items. Actually, that's not true. I forgot one more thing. I want to show you real quickly a modification that we have done here inside of this Tisas pistol. We'll try to get a close-up of this. When the barrel locks to the frame like that, right here on this side of the frame and the barrel feed ramp, these two, the idea is for the frame not to be obstructing in any way that barrel feed ramp. We did do a very small amount of filing on this edge right here because it was forward of the feed ramp. There was just too much metal. To give you an idea of how that should look, you'll notice this same part, if we can capture it in the video, of this FN frame is substantially more filed, and when we put the same barrel up there like that, that curvature of the metal part of the frame is rearward of the barrel feed ramp. And that's what we had to do because we did start having some failures to feed later in the 6,000 round test. We've now done some filing right there to get that amount of metal more appropriate and for at least to not be in any way obstructing by being forward of the feed ramp. So we've also made that change. We're going to get everything here together and get started, and this is going to be the next 200 rounds, and that will be a total of 6,500 rounds. It will be a total of 500 rounds since we have gone to the FN barrel here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now we want to focus the camera here. Okay, I'm going to shoot a few magazines, and then I want you to come over and you shoot. I'll load the rest of the ammunition for this 200. Okay, that's a different magazine than we have used before. Okay, what I'm doing here is we introduced a couple of magazines that we had not used before in the test, and these are actually Arcus magazines. And we had not done any testing with these before, but that one will not lock up in the pistol. So we're going to go ahead and take those two out of the mix here. That's interesting. Metgar magazines completely lock up in the pistol, but for whatever reason the Arcuses do not. That malfunction had nothing to do with the pistol. We'll go ahead and we'll take those magazines out of the... What had happened was the magazine had dropped just a little bit out of the grip frame, and it meant that it did not chamber the next round. So we're going to go ahead and continue. Everything else we have in the way of magazines now is Metgar and some KRD South African magazines, and we used those last night. So we'll continue on, but that does not count as any malfunction of the pistol whatsoever. We had no previous testing with those magazines. We're getting really nice extraction, but it's also very controlled. We're about 6-7 feet extraction right now, and that's really nice. That is really overachieving right there. Get ready, fire. Clementa, I'm watching that target. You are making some really nice hits. Really nice. In and all around that bullseye. Very nice shooting. Clementa, is the pistol feeling hot? That is 200 more rounds. And that was 200 more rounds, absolute perfect function. And Clementa, can you zoom in on these targets? At that rate of firing, Clementa doing most of this firing, Clementa had the targets in the middle and on the right, and that's really good shooting, Clementa. And the pistol just is performing really, really well at this point. You can see here on the patio, we moved the camera down at the ejection field here, You can see that extraction of the empty shell casings is very controlled, very consistent. These things bounce around a lot out here. Generally, they're landing right in that area, and from here, that's 6 feet. That's just really excellent performance all around. And we're going to give this just about 7-8 minutes to cool down, and we're going to put another 100 rounds through it. Hey guys, Mark Allen here for BH Spring Solutions, and we're continuing here on Labor Day weekend the Tisas long endurance test. We did the 6,000 round test back around last July, and we're continuing that. And what we're doing could beg the question, why are you guys doing this? Well, we are seeing today some very, very interesting manufacturing, some interesting levels of quality, and BH Spring Solutions does understand that the availability of one of the actual replacement parts that from time to time in a high power needs to replace the extractor, the availability of these is already limited, and there's going to be a need for a solution for somebody to manufacture these, so we have. And the only way to really test a part like this is to shoot it, and to shoot it, use it in a weapon and shoot it a lot. And you can know about hardness, you can know about correct design, you can know all the scientific and technical aspects of it that you can possibly know, and you still literally just can't know until a firearm has been shot a lot. And some of the things that we have found in the Tisas pistol, the OEM extractor broke in about 300 rounds. We replaced it with an FN extractor, never had any breakage of that extractor. So far, so good with the BH manufactured extractor. It's now got about 900 rounds on it, and we have now had 500 rounds, no malfunctions. The pistol here is very hot. We've only cooled it now for just about 8 or 9 minutes, and everything on it, the heat starts to migrate into the trigger assembly area, through the back of the grip frame, and we're going to put another 100 rounds through it, and that's what we're going to do for today. If we get through this 100 rounds with no malfunctions, this is going to be 600 rounds using the FN barrel, the components that I've talked about and set up as it is, and we're thinking that we've cracked the code here on getting good long-term sustainable reliability out of the Tisas BR9. So we're going to see. Okay, we're ready? Even heated up, these parts are just, the pistol just feels very, very solid, very stable. It just feels like even heated up, everything's working the way it should. So got 2 more magazines left, about 25, 30 rounds, so we're going to see if this continues. The accuracy is really fun. No malfunctions, and I got to tell you, the accuracy with this pistol is really starting to get fun now. And wow, that is very Hi folks, Mark Allen here for BH Spring Solutions. BH Spring Solutions Endurance continuing test of the Tisas Regent BR9 pistol. And we have put now 600 consecutive rounds through this pistol. This is past 6,000. We're now heading for 7,000, and the last 600 rounds we've put through here have been absolutely no malfunctions. Everything just absolutely perfect cycling, perfect feeding, perfect extraction. What we have in the pistol is now a FN 2003 manufactured barrel, because the Tisas barrel was found to have a chamber that was not centered in the barrel. I got an email this afternoon that was just a little bit critical about how much we're talking about BHSpringsolutions products in the Tisas pistol, primarily because the Tisas OEM pistol won't run this long. The extractor broke at 300 rounds, the firing pin retaining plate fractured at about 4,300 rounds, and after we spent 6,000 rounds of ammunition, we found out that the Tisas barrel chamber where the ammunition goes into is 22 thousandths off center towards the 10 o'clock position, which would move the casings away from the extractor. The extractor that we have now is a BHSpringsolutions manufactured extractor, and the firing pin retaining plate is also a BHSpringsolutions firing pin retaining plate. So for those who think we're not talking about the Tisas pistol enough, there's not much of the Tisas pistol left here, and for good reason. The nub of manual safety that the Tisas pistol comes with is gone. It's been abandoned in favor of the SFS system, which is the superior operating system. The traditional slide stop that came with the pistol is not in use. It's the extended slide stop that comes with the safety fast shooting system. These are all BHSpringsolutions springs running inside this pistol. The reason we're doing that is because prior to BHSpringsolutions springs, about 4 years ago, we were getting less than 2,500 rounds of service out of recoil springs, as an example, from one of our competitors. So we're now heading towards 7,000 rounds of these springs, and these springs are virtually functioning just like new. They're scaling just virtually like new, within 99%, most of them, of their original strength. So for anybody who would say that we're not talking about the Tisas pistol enough, there's not a lot of the Tisas pistol left. The frame has been altered. We've had to file down an area of the frame near the slide rails that was interfering with the feed ramp. The slide has had 2 pieces break in it. The barrel was defective. Now, the frame itself, no catastrophic failures. The slide itself, also no catastrophic failures. So we have those things to say about the Tisas pistol, and everything else, the firing pin, the ejector, these are original, and the trigger lever is original. And other than that, just about everything has been replaced because it was either a mismatched sized pin for its application, or parts have just broken. So at this point, we've been 600 function perfect rounds. We're going to now put 200 more through, and we're going to go for 800. finished out that 200. That is 800. That is 800 rounds we've now done. Absolutely perfect. 800 rounds, so 6,000 to 6,800 now, and absolutely no malfunctions. This pistol is becoming an awful lot of fun to shoot. Hey guys, Mark Allen here, BH Spring Solutions. This is our extended endurance test of the Tisas pistol. We've now got 800 function perfect rounds through this pistol. Just got finished shooting 200 rounds. The pistol's rested for about 9 or 10 minutes. It is still extremely, extremely hot. We've got 800 rounds through yesterday and today. Absolutely no malfunctions. Darkness is descending on us, and we're going to get through this 200 rounds. The pistol's still very, very hot. But we're going to see if we can get this last 200 rounds through. That would make, if we do it, 1,000 rounds absolutely perfect function. So we've not had any instances of slide locking up to the frame at this point, no matter what we've done. So that's good news. Maybe we'll get through this 200 rounds and everything will go just the way we want it to. I'll tell you, the heat here on the trigger is really intense. The heat has migrated down into the trigger guard area, into the frame area. The RDIH grips are insulating my hand pretty well, but the associated metal areas around the grips, extremely, extremely hot right now. I'll take it over. For 5 more magazines to go. If we get through this, this is 1,000 rounds. This is really beyond any heat range we've taken this pistol to so far. And so got our fingers crossed. Hopefully this is going to be 1,000 rounds. Absolutely perfect function. This pistol is hot. Unbelievable. There we go. That ends 1,000 rounds.
Well, there it is, 1,000 rounds, function perfect, no malfunctions whatsoever. We never could achieve that in the first 6,000 rounds. And want to end this video with a real quick story for you. The man you see here, Leon Hubert, next to John Browning and Diodone Save. John Browning, we all know him. Diodone Save finished the high power pistol you see here in the picture. And from about 1980 or so until the early 90s, Leon Hubert was really responsible for the upgrades that the high power saw in those final years. And Leon, he is the inventor of the SFS system, this Picatinny rail here you see, the RDIH grips, and he has a great story that he tells. He was the inventor of another, frankly, famous firearm, the Beretta 84 and the Browning BDA 380. These are two very, very similar pistols. And he was the inventor, designer of that handgun. And those were produced in Italy at Beretta for FN and for Browning. The Browning BDA 380 was. He tells this great story about Beretta had produced 4,000 of these pistols for FN, Browning. And they had sent a couple of these pistols to FN for their testing and for their approval. And this speaks to really the core reason why BH Spring Solutions has done this 7,000 round test. We did it with our own ammunition, bought with our money, and we paid the real sales tax to get it. We're beholden to nobody, and this story explains why would a company like BH Spring Solutions do this. Well, BH Spring Solutions optimizes the high power pistol, the 1911, the CZ75, the Makarov pistol, and soon the Walther PPK pistol, and we have more that are coming. We believe we do this better than any other company on the planet, and when we didn't get 6,000 rounds and we never could get reliability out of the Tisas pistol, we had to find out why. So we did. We started testing the barrel. The original Tisas barrel we found to be defective on the chamber part. The crown is also defective enough to affect accuracy, but the chamber part, moving the cartridge 22 thousandths away from the extractor meant the extractor couldn't do its job correctly. So we found that out. We put in a different barrel into the Tisas, and we got reliable function. And the story with Leon about the BDA 380, Beretta sends a couple of samples to FN, and Leon went out and he did what needs to be done with a new product. He went out and he shot them a lot, but he did not just shoot them. He shot them, and he wanted to do all of the normal stuff that you do with a pistol, like take it apart. When he got these pistols hot, he found out they could not be taken apart. Something apparently in the formula for the alloy, those are an alloy frame pistol, apparently was not right, because when these pistols got hot, they could not be taken apart. And so Leon goes to Italy, and he explains this to the top brass at Beretta, who, you know, after they give him all of the Beretta flag waving rah-rah like we're the best and we don't make mistakes and all of that kind of thing, he asked the top brass at Beretta to go and shoot these pistols, and they went and shot these pistols. Then he asked them to take them apart. And he said all of the top brass at Beretta are standing there trying to get the slides off the frames of these pistols, and it's absolutely impossible. That kind of testing is what really tells folks what they need to know about a handgun, so our friends and our customers don't have to go out and shoot 5 or 6 or 7 or 10,000 rounds of ammunition up just to find out, is this handgun going to be there for me when I need it? And so that's really, in that kind of a tradition, that's why we chose to do what we did. We now have 7,000 rounds of extremely good data for BH Spring Solutions springs that are still serviceable, still in this handgun, still controlling ejection distance. The SFS components look like they have not even been used. The RDIH components, the Picatinny rail and the grips, look like they are brand new. So we've learned a lot, but best of all, we think that it tells the story about the Tisas pistol for our customers. Our customers can know, how can I get the most out of my Tisas pistol, and that's one of the things that we've determined at this point. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for following us. Thank you for watching us. I'm Mark Allen with BH Spring Solutions.